Hello and welcome, everybody. This is episode number 102, and we are coming to you in early June, which makes me think of seasons. You know, we're moving into summer. It will soon be the summer solstice on the 21st. And we are all aware that there are seasons in our lives. There are also seasons in the day. You know, at the moment, this is the springtime of this conversation, but we are probably in the summer of the YouTube channel because we've been going for over 100 episodes now. So that brought up for us the theme of seasons and periods and stages of life. How do they differ from our youth to our middle years? How do we come into the autumn and winter time of our lives? And we've spoken many times about a healthy reverence for death and not being scared of our mortality. So that's where we're going in this episode. So welcome, Gabby, Brett, Erica. What have you got for us?
It's just different periods. And I think the conversation is really important because if somebody's in their third, and you get into this conversation, everybody's going to have a second feeling as to what the first, second, or third, if they're in it, right? What they represented for each individual. And that conversation, things from the third can be handed down to the second third, right? And that could inevitably empower you in your third, if that makes sense. So there's the community thing that I find that's really important, and conversation that's really important, going over it, because I don't have to do certain things that somebody else has experienced and has shared with me, and I can say, "Ooh, yeah, I don't want to experience that." And maybe there's a way I can avoid experiencing it. Maybe there's not, and that's a whole part of it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm in my third. I just started my third. And it does hit home that I don't have that much time left. And what you just said about community and taking other people's experiences and learning from that. I mean, in the end of the day, that's role modeling. We used to do that. I mean, I know we all go through a life, we have all our experiences, but some experiences we can really avoid if we have community, we see other people going through stages of their life, and we can avoid certain pitfalls. We don't need to fall into every pitfall to learn from it. We can learn from other people's pitfalls. That's my thinking. And the big one for me was my parents working all their life really, really hard. They worked really, really hard. And they always said, well, when we retired, we're going to do this. When we retired, we're going to do that. And also, I worked also very hard all my life. I learned a lesson because my mom was only retired a couple of years when she died. She died very early at 65. My father lived his life to 84. But when I look at my mom and all the disappointment I had, all the things they wanted to do together, and it wasn't happening anymore because she simply wasn't around anymore, taught me I cannot wait for certain things until then or there, especially nowadays where we don't know where retirement goes. At the time, it was a given from my parents that when they reach a certain age, you retired. Governments are now talking about retirement age. I heard some politicians say the other day, 72, right? So, we cannot live our life presuming we are going to have the last third of our life until 100 and are fit and healthy and bodily able to do all the things we postponed because, well, when I get there. So that's my thoughts.
Oh boy, this conversation. Oh, goodness. I'm in my second third, and that is enough for me to start feeling the pressure already, right? And pressure in quotes of the third is imminently around the corner, right? It's not that far away actually. And I'm already feeling like that, right? Like by the time I get to my third, I would love to already have that all set in motion so that my third is entirely just whatever the fuck I want it to be. That's the hope. That's what I would like, especially because of what you just said. I've seen enough of around me people that don't make it out of their second thirds, right? I mean, there's no guarantee I'm going to even make it out of my second third. There's no guarantee I'm going to make it out of today. I have no idea. I think about this all the time. And it is definitely a motivator for me to, again, getting clear on what's really important. How do I actually want to be going through this? What am I spending my energy on, my time on, with the vision of what do I want that third to be? I have an extra motivator in that I have a son who I'm hoping, I have no guarantee of this either, that he will be having children. And I want to be around for that, right? And I want to be free of time and full of energy to be able to be present for whatever that might be. So, but there's no guarantees. I think that's the variable that none of us know. So it's like there is no time but the present to actually prepare or be present in whatever third of your life you're actually in, right? My first third was pivotal in changing the whole trajectory of my life with certain things that happened in my first third. My second third brought more major life changing sort of transitional things that happened. So every stage brings whatever it brings. And I think what I get most out of this is it's really important to be present in whatever third you're in, right? Like to be in the first or second third, thinking only about what's going to happen in the third defeats the whole purpose to me. Like I'm in the second third, so I have to be here now with the hope of whatever I'm doing now is going to positively influence the third. But I don't want to spend time in the third until I get there. So I think that is, for me, the bigger challenge. Neither one of my parents saw retirement. So I also have that learning from that as well, that I don't want to work until I die. Like there's more to it for me.
Yeah, I think, ideally, and as a model on paper, your first third is about learning. Your second third will be the foundations of the third, where you will reap what you've sown in terms of investment and relationships and family. But I'm with you, Erica. You be here now. As Ram Dass said, there's no purpose in trying to plan that far ahead. We live moment by moment. What we're doing now will influence what we experience in the next moment. And you all know, only 2 years ago, I was a ticking time bomb. I could have dropped dead at any moment. I'd gone older than my father was when he died, and I'm not very far away from where my grandfather was. But luckily, the medical problem that would have killed me in an instant was discovered, and a friend kindly arranged for me to have the appropriate surgery. It's almost like I've got a new heart. I feel like that about life. And I know that's a bit of a romanticized and maybe a little bit fanciful, but I felt like, even though I'm closer to the start of the third, it feels like a new life, a new heart to engage with the world. And that's what lets me be so much more present now. I know that what I'm investing in now and how I spend my time now will impact my future. But it's also giving me a way of being now, which hopefully is a little bit insightful or offers some guidance to other people, so that this period, which could be a golden period of my life, I've made pretty much every mistake I could possibly have made, and I've got the lived experience on the other side of it to recognize all of my blessings, and hopefully other people see that and can learn, as Gabby said, from the mistakes and not make the same sort of critical errors. So if we don't invest, and I don't mean financially now, if we do not invest ourselves and our energy right here, right now, and get on with the business of living, we'll come to die and not have actually lived. We will have just existed. And I think there's a massive difference.
You sound like Thoreau in that quote right there, right? Like, we have to go to the woods to push ourselves to live before we come to realize we haven't lived at all in the way that we think that we're living. So something that you said, you had this health issue, which propelled you, did all of the things, and now you've been gifted with this new life, literally and figuratively, right? How is it that not everybody, thankfully, fortunately, has to go through something like that, right? Like, we all also don't get the life-changing thing that wakes us up to realize, okay, now I've been given and now I'm going to fully live. So what's the key for us, the rest of us here, for anybody who's listening, to latch onto, to make those changes now without something massive having to happen in order to shift the way that we're going through life? You understand what I mean? Like, we're not all going to have almost near death kind of experiences that when we come back can say, well, I've been there and now I'm here and I've been gifted a second chance. So let me make the most out of everything I'm doing now. Like, why does it take us to be in the face of death to have these conversations, to feel, oh, I have to witness that person dying at my age in order for me to now feel like, oh, I really have to take that as a warning. Like, why do these things have to happen? Why can't we just figure that out as humans? This is like a human failing, that we can't just figure that shit out. Gabby's laughing at me.
It's an interesting question, because, as you know, I had breast cancer, I went to chemo and everything. And that was my wake-up call. Right? And it's funny, because I was so aware of it beforehand. Because I'm a nurse, I saw people dying, I had experienced my parents. And you know what? Every so often now, I still fall back to the old patterns rather than living in the here and now. And why? Because I think we're taking life often just for granted. We're taking it for granted. We take our health for granted. Sure, I'm invincible. That's the others. The others will get, it's always the others. That's not going to happen to me. This is not going to happen to my family. It's always the others. And we start taking life for granted. And I think it's a constant constant process of reminding ourselves, no, it's not guaranteed. I can't take it for granted. And I'm entitled to absolutely nothing, not a long life, not nothing. It's just the moment. That's what we have. And it's so important because, as I said, I fall sometimes back to it. And I wonder how much it comes from um, societal pressures and personal pressures we put on ourselves. We had similar discussions before of being performative rather than living, performing, having all the talk in our heads, especially in our world, personal growth out there. Have your goals, have your visions, have this, have your purpose in life. Work towards this and work towards that. And it's all so future oriented so often to climb this mountain of success, whatever that mountain of success looks like, right? That we forget to live in the moment. It's all like, let's push, let's do this, let's do that, and let's put another 10-hour day in. And no, I can't see my friend on Saturday because I need to do that because I have to push to that, I don't know, thing in the future.
I think you've mentioned this in the past, Erica, that you know, particularly your society in the US is averse to considering death. The vibe and the mentality is always about producing and to an extent consuming, but you've got to be productive. What did you achieve today? And it doesn't serve people who create the jobs and want the workforce that behave like that to have them considering their mortality. Because if they all turn around and were like, do you know what? Screw this. It's a sunny day. I am going to go and be instead of do. And I also think there's probably some kind of adaptation there that if we were to overdwell on our mortality, we would just be shivering in a cave and not going out and doing the things that needed to be doing, like hunting a mammoth or chasing down a tiger. So, and we see particularly in the young men, they've got no sense of their own mortality. They almost believe they're godlike. I had a relatively close friend die when I was about 19, and there was no way that was going to happen to us. Of course, any of us could be snuffed out in a moment, and so I think we would get this kind of existential, what's the point, be weighed down. Conversely, when we do get reminders, Gabby's breast cancer, my heart thing, I know you lost a good friend recently. Actually being honest and leaning into that and fully feeling and experiencing it probably would give us more of a reminder to focus on the present. But people tend to take a bit of a bypass, don't they? We all know that people don't want to think about their loved ones getting ill or anything. But when someone close enough to you does have a scare, instead of writing it off as that was good luck, oh, thank God Gabby got her surgery and the chemo and everything worked. Think about what would my life experience be without Gabby and what she brings to my life, and what would it be like? And I'm not saying you've got to sit there and make yourself terminally depressed, but it's memento mori, isn't it? Recognizing what you would miss and what you've got and what you love makes life more beautiful to live.
It's the appreciation of all those little things that we take for granted. The conversations that we can have today with each other, right? It's all those little things and the appreciation and being able to hold on to that and share with one another what if you were able to like experience your third and your second third, like choosing things in a different way, staying more present, right? Taking a vacation when you think you can't, challenge some of those limiting beliefs that are within our minds and say, notice those things and how they play out, and then challenge them, right? Because without risk, there's no reward. So there's some risk, but the wise risk, like challenging the limiting belief, better than, I don't know, maybe jumping off a cliff. You know what I mean? So you doing it wisely and challenging yourself could bring you into that next chapter with a different mindset. Of course, it's like, why do we need the health scare? Maybe because we've been living on autopilot, and it's kind of like, all right, somebody's got to wake this one up because it's not their time, and if we don't wake them up now, then when are they going to? And then you get a scare, right? And you don't know which way it's going to go, because how you move through it could inevitably go either way, right? You don't know. Nobody knows. There's no answers, right? So, like the gift of presence and being with the people that you're with in that moment, I think is like gold, right? Anybody that I've lost, that I look back on, I'm grateful for all those times that I did have with those individuals. And I look at that and I celebrate that part rather than like focusing on the sad, like they're gone now. It's focusing on all the beautiful things that we had together and things that we did and how we experienced life and what did I learn from them and how can I carry some of that energy forward, right? There's something special in that. And carrying that forward is how we inevitably bring those people forward with us in what we learned and how they impacted our lives. So I don't know. It's something. It's going to happen to all of us. There is no way out of it, right? You're not getting away without having it happen. So why not start living today as if it was your last? And then when tomorrow comes, be grateful that you have tomorrow, right? And enjoy the job that you're at. And if you don't, and it's really that bad, well, then figure out what it needs to be and come up with a plan for yourself on what it would look like to have that next level. Right? Because I don't want to just wake up one day and, and find myself in a position. Yeah.
Erica, I noticed a little smile and a shake of your head when Brett was talking about getting a nudge, maybe like a little angel getting their wings or something.
So I got no surprise here. I have a whole lot going on when I listen to all of you speak. So I talk to the powers that be, whoever that is, and I'm in constant negotiation with all of them. Like, all right, I'm seeing it. I don't need a little nudge. I don't need a scare of any type. I get it. Like, I have very selfish reasons. I don't want a fucking scare. I don't want to have something epically happen to me for me to be able to be present and take notice of what I do have, right? So I'm constantly in negotiations like that and always challenging myself because it's very easy to go back, like Gabby said. That we're humans. So it's really easy to get pulled out of that space. But whenever I find myself doing that, I'm quickly saying, okay, I'm back. I know. Please do not, wake me up with any pains anywhere. I'm good. I don't want that. Please, if you can, right? I'm constantly negotiating with whatever that is because I know I'm not getting out of it. I just want to be put at the back of the list, right? Like, just don't come to me right now. Go somewhere else, or nobody that close to me, though. I'm very, it's negotiations, constantly talking about this, but, yeah. And then Brett, I come from a different angle though, right? Like, I'm okay with being really sad if somebody's not around and allowing that to be, but also at the same time, reminding myself, I don't want this to happen to me. So I have to do whatever is within my control to take care of myself the best way that I can, whatever that means, eating better, sleeping better, all the things, my own stress levels, my own health of my thoughts, all of those things eat us up, right? And can lead us to get ill. But anything I can control is what I'm focusing on trying to do here, and learning from what I've seen happen to other people. No fault of their own, right? Like, none of us are exempt, and none of us know. So we might as well act in the moment the best way we can, because you never know when it's the last of anything. And I think that's the part that gets me the most out of all of this. It's like, I can be very present today, but I have no idea if today is the last time I'm ever going to do X, Y, or Z with somebody else, So there's no prepping for that at all. I think it's just making sure you are the best version of yourself as much as you can possibly be, because that is always a possibility.
Don't get me wrong, I still feel the sadness of that person, right?
I know. Mm-hmm.
But I like to kind of bring them forward in a way as to how do I carry them forward? Like, if they meant that much to me, then obviously they impacted me in a way that I carry them forward, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
I think what I'm getting from this is the only seasons and cycles that are guaranteed are nature's, and we can look at ourselves in our late summers or our autumns, our second or our thirds, however you want to frame that, and we can live with the hope of what that is and what it will mean for us, for others, but knowing that there is no given. The farmer can sow his crop, but there's no guarantee he will be around for the harvest. There's no guarantee that the crop will come up as they expected it to. And all we can do, and I like what Erica said about our thoughts, is to be the masters of our mindsets and to absolutely know how we are going to engage with whatever life experience comes our way, knowing that it's through our lens, that it's good, bad, or indifferent, and we can choose to make as many of those things good as we want to. There is, without doing an emotional bypass or a gratitude journal, there is always a way to look at a thing, feel the feeling, but know there is a way for me to experience this that is not going to equate to pain, suffering, distress. And when you've had the emotion, and I know we're going to go on to talking about this at a later date, then you move forward, and then it's another new experience, something that's built further resilience, that's made you more robust, more of a role model, more of a friend, because those who've been with you and loved you through whatever that experience was, it just deepens and deepens those relationships. Life is going to be a mystery, but the way we deal with the mystery is right here in us to decide. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Great.
Well, my final thought on this topic is simple. It's just Your time is limited, so just act accordingly, right? Whatever that means to you. Your time is limited, and we need to be aware of that at all times, knowing.
Yeah, I think in my... Go ahead, Gabby. I think in my third, I'm looking to empower myself and others, right? And share the things that have inspired me and try to ignite that fire in others so that they can live their best and strongest life, right? For whatever time that we all have, right? There's something about just empowering and supporting people and seeing and taking control and being a part of their own life, as I am of mine, if that makes sense.
It makes sense, but your third is, you have a little bit of time in your second third. So what are you going to do now?
Well, I'm going to wind up working what it is to be in my third, right? I'm creating now. I'm looking to create that space and build into that third. So when I do get there, I already have that feeling like it's about the empowerment of me and empowering others. So it's looking for a way in how I live my second third, that in my third, it's right there at my feet. And I'm either already doing it or I now have my direction and I see what I have to do. I'm fortunate in that I stay as present as I can in my daily. And sometimes I'm not doing anything. Sometimes I might be just sitting on the couch, but I'm very aware as to I'm sitting on the couch, right? Because I'm very aware when I'm running around, I use a lot of that energy in doing the things that I do. So I have to be aware of my downtime. If that makes sense.
And my takeaway is very simple. One famous man said, we all have to die, but not everybody lives. So just don't take anything for granted and just live now. As simple as that. Whatever you want to do, don't put things off. Ring that friend, visit, do what you want to do because you don't know if they're still around tomorrow or if you're still around tomorrow. Just do what you want to do. Full stop.
Thanks, everybody. We will see you in another episode, and live. Go out there and live in the time until we see you next.